Have you ever looked at a massive solar farm and wondered, how on earth does the power from here get to a city hundreds of miles away? Well, it's definitely not as simple as flipping a switch. There's a whole complex rulebook, and today we're going to break down the 2022 regulations from India's Central Electricity Regulatory Commission, basically, the blueprint for connecting to the national power grid.
Okay, so let's frame this with a big question. Just imagine, a developer builds this brand new, sprawling 1,000 megawatt solar park. That's huge. How does all of that clean energy actually make its way across the country to, light up our homes and power our businesses?
The answer? It's a journey. And this journey happens on what we're going to call India's National Power Highway, this incredible, complex, and absolutely vital network that carries electricity all across the country.
Now, to get onto this highway, you can't just merge into traffic. You need two crucial keys, something called connectivity and something called access. And to make sense of all this, we're going to follow the journey of a hypothetical renewable energy developer and see exactly how they navigate this whole system.
So, our developer is ready to go. They've got their project. What's the very first step? Well, they need to understand the highway they're trying to get onto. In other words, they have to figure out how to literally plug into the grid.
So, the official name for this highway is the Interstate Transmission System, or ISTS. And just to be clear, this isn't your neighborhood power line. Nope, this is the high-voltage backbone of the entire country. It's the superhighway that moves massive amounts of electricity from where it's made to where we need it, crossing state lines all along the way.
Okay, so let's meet our protagonist. They're a developer with a brand new 500 megawatt project ready to roll. That's enough juice to power hundreds of thousands of homes. Their goal is crystal clear. They need to build an on-ramp from their power park directly onto this national power highway.
So, with this massive project ready to go, where do they even start? What is the absolute first thing they have to do to get that power flowing?
Well, like so many big journeys, this one starts with, you guessed it, paperwork. It's all about formally applying to get that connection to the grid.
And this brings us to our first key term, connectivity. The best way to think about this is, it's the right to get physically plugged in. Using our highway analogy, this is the official permit that lets you build the access road and the on-ramp from your power park right onto that national power highway.
The process itself starts with a few key steps. First up, you've got to be eligible. Your project has to be a decent size. We're talking at least 50 megawatts. Next, the application is submitted online to the Central Transmission Utility. Then there's a 5 lakh rupee fee. And this isn't just to make money. It's non-refundable, which helps make sure only serious players are in the game. And finally, the agency reviews everything to make sure it's all there.
All right, once the application is in, our developer has to do more than just ask nicely. They have to prove that their project is real, that it's viable, and that they're actually going to build it. It's all about showing you've got real skin in the game.
Now, this is where it gets really interesting. The developer has a choice to make. 2 paths they can take. Path 1, they can show documents proving they already control at least half the land they need. Or, path 2, if they don't have the land locked down yet, they can submit a pretty hefty bank guarantee instead.
And when I say hefty, I mean it. The bank guarantee is set at 10 lakh rupees per megawatt. So for our developer's 500 megawatt project, well, you do the math. That's a 50 crore rupee guarantee. The point is, this is a massive financial commitment. It's designed to weed out anyone who isn't serious and make sure only credible, well-funded developers can reserve a spot on the highway. But wait, there's more. The financial hurdles don't stop there. Once that initial application gets an in-principle thumbs up, the next step is to provide a series of even more specific guarantees. They're called Connectivity Bank Guarantees, or CONBGs for short.
And there are 3 of them. CONBG1 is a flat 50 lakhs, kind of like a reservation fee to hold your spot. CONBG2 is a big one. It's a guarantee to cover the cost of building the physical on-ramp, and that can run into crores. And finally, CONBG3, at 2 lakhs per megawatt, is basically a promise that you'll be a good neighbor and use the existing grid responsibly.
After all those guarantees are submitted and accepted, our developer finally reaches a huge milestone. They get to sign the formal connectivity agreement. The permits are issued, the access road to the National Power Highway is officially a go.
But building the on-ramp is only half the battle. Now our developer needs the right to actually send their traffic, their electrons, out onto that highway. And this is where our second key, General Network Access, or GNA, comes into play.
So let's make this crystal clear. Connectivity, like we said, is the physical plug. It's the on-ramp. But GNA, that's the right to transmit. It's the permit that lets your trucks, your electrons, actually drive on the highway. You can have the best on-ramp in the world, but if you don't have a permit to drive, it's totally useless. You need both.
So how does our developer get this permit? This is where the 2022 regulations did something really smart. The rulebook itself says it all. Once you're granted connectivity, you are automatically deemed to have been granted general network access. This is a game changer. It combines what used to be two separate, often really long processes into one.
So for a new power generator like ours, it's basically a 2-for-1 deal. The moment their access road is approved, they also get the permit to use the highway. This makes the whole process so much simpler and means our developer is finally ready to get their power to the people.
But getting the approvals isn't the end of the story. Not even close. Now, the real race begins. Our developer has to deliver on their promises and hit a series of very strict deadlines just to stay on the grid.
And the clock starts ticking the second that agreement is signed. As you can see, they have just 12 months to get all the land documents finalized. 6 months after that, they have to hit financial closure. That means all the funding is locked in. And it all leads up to the ultimate finish line, the scheduled commercial operation date, or SCOD, when the plant absolutely must start supplying power.
Man, the consequences for missing these deadlines, they are severe. There are no extensions. You miss a milestone, and your connectivity can be taken away. Every single one of those bank guarantees we talked about, all those crores of rupees, will be cashed in by the authorities. The project loses its spot and can even be physically unplugged from the grid. It sounds harsh, but it's all about making sure that grid capacity is used by projects that are actually getting built.
So when you step back, what we have here isn't just a new set of rules. It's a whole new philosophy for building out the grid. It's demanding, it's clear, and it has some very sharp teeth. It's designed to filter out speculation and make sure only the most serious, well-planned projects get a spot on the nation's power highway. And this leaves us with the big question. Is this tough but fair system the key that will finally unlock India's massive green energy future at the speed and scale the country needs? Well, that's what the entire energy sector is watching to find out.